Hello everyone, welcome to Tips and Joy. My name is Ayo and I share interview and career tips, Scrum Master tips, and project management tips. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Today I'll be talking about the backlog refinement session, and I advise that you have this session with your teams because there are so many benefits of having the backlog refinement session. I'll jump right into it. Although the backlog refinement session is not in the Scrum guide, I advise any Scrum Master to ensure that their teams are having the session. This session is mostly led by the product owner, but the Scrum Master is always there to facilitate the sessions. There's so many benefits, and I'll jump right into it right now. The first one is it prepares the team for the upcoming sprint. So we're carrying out the backlog refinement session in the previous sprint to prepare the team for the user stories, for the features that are going to be developed in the next sprint. It's very important because imagine if the sprint planning day, which is the first day of the sprint, if you want to learn more about sprint planning, check my video here. Imagine if the sprint planning day is the first time the development team is exposed to these user stories. Imagine how long that session will be. So that's the point of having the backlog refinement session. Some people have the backlog refinement session 2 times during the sprint. Maybe if their sprint is for 2 weeks, they have one session in each sprint, but it actually depends on the type of features that you're developing, and based on that, you and the team members can decide on the frequency that works best for everybody. As a Scrum Master, prior to the backlog refinement session, you'll have worked with the product owner to prepare the stories that will be reviewed during that backlog refinement session. So you would help them in prioritization, like for new product owners that also do not, know their way around Jira or know their way around, the role of a product owner. So you will coach them on that to prepare the tickets for this backlog refinement session. And there's some situations whereby the product owner doesn't have enough information about that particular ticket. That's okay, right? They can invite maybe the solutions architect, which I advise should always be there. They can invite even other stakeholders that have more knowledge about this feature that will be developed in the coming sprint. The reason is because the development team might have questions, and you don't want things to start dragging, whereby the product owner is writing down the questions, then they have to get the answers from the stakeholder that knows the right thing, and by the time they come back, there's another question. There's just so much back and forth. The best way is just to invite that stakeholder to that particular meeting. Invite them so that questions can be asked, and answered as well, and everything is clarified in that session. It usually works really well when you can get all the details you need during the backlog refinement session. The second benefit is an opportunity for you to review the user story itself. Review the user story, ensure that the description is clear. You can go through each acceptance criteria, the testing, they're asking questions to ensure that they have, the proper understanding, they know the scope of the work, they know the testing areas, asking all these questions is always good prior to the sprint. I do not advise requirement gathering during the sprint. I will advise that you do any kind of questioning and requirement gathering prior to the sprint. I know sometimes things will come up within the sprint where you have to clarify things, but if you have done a proper refinement session, those issues should not be that often, right? So clarifying the ACs, clarifying everything with the product owner and the development team so that the definition of done is clear to the entire development team, and agreement has been made, and it just makes things easier. The developers and the test team and everybody, they're exposed to this ticket. They know the nature of things to be done. The solutions architect has probably reviewed it as well, so it just makes things clearer and everybody's aware of what needs to be done. Another very important benefit is that many people do their estimations during the backlog refinement session. If you're looking for a video on the different types of estimation, check out my video here. So there are a lot of estimating, techniques, and you can choose the one that suits your team best. I usually use the planning poker method with my teams, and it's during this backlog refinement sessions that we're estimating. When the stakeholders are there, when we've reviewed all the ACs, when the development team feel comfortable, like, oh, they have everything they need to work on this particular ticket, then they will go ahead to estimate the tickets. And it's always good when you have your estimations at this point, because like I said, imagine if you have to estimate all the tickets within the planning session, especially if you have if you have very efficient team members where they're completing stories very fast, which means you have to refine many stories for the upcoming sprint. So imagine if you have to refine the stories as well as estimate them during the sprint planning session. That will take a long time. It doesn't mean that some estimations do not happen during the sprint planning session. This backlog refinement session just makes things a little better. People are exposed to the tickets. They can do some estimations at this point to make the sprint planning session even faster, which leads to my fourth benefit. The fourth benefit is that it makes your sprint planning session very fast. If you have done a proper backlog refinement session, the sprint planning session is always fast, because in the sprint planning session, you review the stories again. Many people are already familiar with the stories, with the user stories or the features that's going to be created. Maybe it's just a time to clarify some minor things. Most of the estimation has already been done. It just makes the process very smooth. So I advise everyone, if you're not doing your backlog refinement session, I advise that you do it. Work with your teams on determining the frequency of the backlog refinement session, and carry out the sessions and enjoy the benefits. Your sprint planning session is really faster. People are more comfortable on working on tickets, and this might also be another reason why some of your user stories are not getting completed during a particular sprint, because the team is exposed to the user story on the sprint planning day, and most times it's not enough for them to really gather all the knowledge they need. So they pick up that ticket, they bring it into a sprint, and then during that particular sprint is when they're now clarifying so many things that should have been done prior to bringing it into the sprint. So this might also be another reason why your user stories are not getting completed during the sprint. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment. It just encourages me to continue to make more valuable content. If you're looking for Scrum Master interview questions and answers, check out the videos here. It will really help you if you're looking to transition into Scrum. I've also attached the links to videos on that. Thank you. Hit the subscribe button.